Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a very warm welcome to Trustpower Stadium here, Mount Maunganui. It is round one of the 2019 D1NZ Drifting Championship. We're down with a man who finished on the top spot yesterday, 85 points, number one qualifier pro sport, Michael Thorley.
Yeah, pretty stoked with that. That NZ Laurel went pretty good yesterday. Ran the wall like the judges asked. Yeah, really loving that wall.
You ran the wall like the judges asked. You've just been into practice, run it again.
Yeah, we're still hitting the wall left and right, just what they wanted. So yeah, looking forward to the battles. Just got to work on that chase position. Yeah.
Well, talking about battles, it is time now to get straight into the pro sport battles. Look, so a very warm welcome to the live stream, Brendan Dunker.
Steve, how are you today?
Yeah, great, mate. It's a fantastic day out here. We've got not too much sun, so we're not sitting. These people hopefully aren't going to get sunburnt out there.
I'll tell you what, it's yesterday was a scorcher. I think I saw quite a few burnt people wandering out yesterday, but I mean, they saw a really good show. Some of the qualifying was pretty exciting. There was some awesome practice out there yesterday. And yeah, I think today with the battles, we're going to see some more of that practice confidence, I think, come out today in the battles. So yeah, it's going to be good.
Well, look, I'll let you get straight into judging because our first two cars are out on track. Thank you very much. We'll no doubt hold you accountable for your decisions later on in the day.
I'm sure you will, Steve. Thank you.
All right, that's Brendan Dunker, of course, our top judge here for the D1NZ. Well, it is time to go straight into Battle Pro Sport Championship, top 16, left-hand side of the tree. We've got Michael Thorley in the Nissan C33 R34 fronted Owl Dog going up against Charlie Bond Walsh, chasing in the Nissan S13, and the cars are being sent straight out on track, and here we go. So Michael Thorley straight up to the wall, shallow lines for Charlie Bond Walsh, trying to close the gap up as they come into the centre section for the first time today. Certainly dialing on a bit of angle to slow the car up for Thorley, gets out on that high wide line, but creating a gap between himself and Charlie Bond Walsh. We'll see how they go as they come out of KASPA Transmissions, the final sweeper. And you can see Bond Walsh certainly going down and trying to gain that proximity again. But I'm going to say, first up, advantage Michael Thorley. Choice events. Machine. We'll go into chase. Michael Thorley in the NZ RB-powered Laurel. Chasing from behind. Michael Thorley will certainly need to close up this gap, and you can see as he starts to shallow up, but we've got a wheel off from our lead car coming through the top end of the teardrop section up through NZ Vapor and onto KASPA Transmissions. Bond Walsh certainly railing that concrete, getting it nice and high up. Charlie Bond Walsh, car number 27, Mooks Motorsport 135. Dan Mackey says Michael Thorley. Adam Richards says Michael Thorley. Brendan Dunker says Michael Thorley. Michael Thorley will go through into the top 8. Well, the next battle on the screen now is Matthew Brown, who leads away with Andrew Donoghue. He's got away to a great start. Donoghue having to get right down into the inside to close up that gap, and he's done it well. He may be penalised heavily though for the line that he's taken. We'll find out as the judges go through at the end of this battle. But at the at-pace solutions, Nissan S chassis powering out of the final sweeper through KASPA Transmissions. A nice clean drive by Matthew Brown. Andy Donoghue, the Team 33 Laurel, going up against Matthew Brown in the, so I said it was an S chassis, it's the 180. Ugly start for the chase car. And we've got a wheel off by the chase car as well, so what's happened with the HK upholsterers, C33 Laurel powers out, getting the smoke billowing out the back end of that machine. Good angle and a gap created. And we come to a finish. All right, let's go straight to Dan Mackey. Oh, okay, we've got Andy Donoghue, all three directions as we bring either or. Who's we're going to talk to? We're going to talk to Brendan Dunker. What was your take on that one there? Did I see a straight line from the chase car in that second half of the battle?
Yeah, you did. So Matthew's, for a start on the first battle, Matthew's lead run was really, really good, actually really good. And there were a couple of small mistakes by Andrew Donoghue. On the second run, though, Matthew unfortunately straight lined twice, and those mistakes were worse than the smaller mistakes that Andrew Donoghue had made. So that gave the win to Andrew Donoghue. Yeah, a bit of a shame. We thought the outcome would have been different there, but hey, great driving.
All right, thank you very much. To lead, Blackie will be in chase. As the lights go green, off we go. A drag race down the front straight as we hit the sweeper. The judges want proximity, and they're certainly getting that right now from Kurt Blackie. Blackie running shallow so he can dive down on, and talk about dive, let's talk about dual contact and maybe a malfunction or a mechanical issue possibly, because we saw the Blackie takes the stop down on the teardrop. See, the car's just stalled, so we have got a 5-minute break now as Kurt Blackie heads back to the pits. Potros. But let's go to the next battle. So the Blacklion A31 Safira of Adam Whitehead, who leads the way. We've got Russell Vere, newcomer rookie to the a big mistake advantage, the A31 Safira. So it is up to Adam Whitehead to hold on to take advantage out of the first half of the battle. Another big straight line. It's going to be a 0 for the chase car. Russell Vere, he's in a car that I guess is unfamiliar to him now. He's got a brand new for him FCRX7 that'll be campaigning hopefully by the next round. But Whitehead powers out again. Another big mistake. Whitehead grazes the wall, throws the sparks, and comes to a massive advantage going into his next. The cars again for the second half of the battle. It'll be Vere who will lead the way this time here in the At-Pace Solutions Nissan S13, and pulls away to a early lead, trying to gap the A31 Safira of the Blacklion machine. It's Adam Whitehead. And a big correction by Whitehead, wheel off. Now Whitehead should be okay in battle, I believe. There's a heavy points deduction, but I think we're going to see a 0 out of the first car. We'll find out if they, after we conclude this end of the battle, and they'll come to finish. So we'll go straight up to the replay and we'll watch what happened with the chase car coming up through. All right, Russell Vere versus Adam Whitehead. And that is OMT one more time. Dan Mackey, what so we came through in the first battle, and of course we saw a huge mistake by Vere. Then the second battle of the day, second half of their battle, that big straight line, was that enough to go OMT for you?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So it was a straight line either way from the chase driver in their chase position. Unfortunately, that means we have to 0 each driver. So it's a 10-0, then a 0-10 back to the way. Both got 10 points at the end of it, and they're going one more time. Bit of luck, they can tidy it up and we get a good battle.
Yeah. 186, so we're just waiting for the lights to go out, and they go green. We are off and away in the next battle. This is the top of the right-hand side of the tree. Our second qualifier, Taylor James, going up against qualifier 15, James Wynyard. What's in it? I think there was a relatively good-sized mistake. Well, that certainly is. Tay James going to need to hold onto his lap, make no mistakes, and will come away with a good advantage in this battle. Well, that's an interesting one. We've got a big pass because Tay James has set himself up to run the wall. James Wynyard's come underneath to pass him. Taylor James is going to be thinking what happened the next round. So top 16, qualifier 2 versus qualifier 15. It's going to be Wynyard who will lead the way with Taylor James in chase. So James Wynyard pulling out of the sweeper, absolutely charging through. Good speed as well, which is exactly what the judges wanted to see down. And we've got a dirt turbo from our lead car. Back down to the sweeper we go. So as we wait for the replay to come up, Brendan Duncan says Taylor James, Dan Mackey, Taylor James, Adam Richards, Taylor James. Taylor James goes through. Taylor James will go through to face the winner of Alex Griffin and Atlan Norman, who should be coming of the red TP Boys Drift Rack King S15 Alex Griffin. Stocky will lead the way. So Stocky going up towards the top end of the wall, exactly where the judges want. Shallows up to come out, holding good speed down into the teardrop. Atlan Norman certainly looking, with no disrespect, ugly in that first half, and you can see that that has cost him with a wheel drop coming through the pan head clipping point. So Alex Griffin, Stocky, barrowing the world, is certainly grazing the concrete as he comes to a stop. Some of these cars certainly looking a little bit second hand in the rear end, the front ends as well, after the concrete custom rounds. So back to the second half of this battle and a quick response. And off he goes, Atlan Norman. Stocky having to run a qualifying line as he gets gapped. Let's see if he can close it up, as he does coming into the teardrop, having to dial on a whole lot of angle and a little bit too much angle. As Stocky throws in the big zero, the big donut. So I guess the only question that we need to know now is, and there we go, all three, Brendan Duncan, Dan Mackey, Adam Richards, the lights. And we hit the green, and it's going to be the Pato Entertainment Prime Avocados S13 of Calvin Clark that leads the way. Slight correction by our chase car, closing up the gap slightly. Let's see what happens as they go into the teardrop. Nice, clean, strong run by Calvin Clark. Shallow lines out of the sweeper in order to gain proximity as he finishes. Adam Kemplin brings the FC to a stop as they come down. With the Summer's Day Disco, etc. here. Big shout out to Pato, Mitch, Albie and co. Hope you're enjoying yourselves here at Baypark. All right, let's go back to the second half of the battle. Calvin Clark doing everything he needs to at the moment. Shallows right up, gaining proximity. And a very strong chase run. Certainly nothing wrong with what's happening up front for Adam Camplin as he heads back up to the wall. Up through KASPA transmissions onto the front straight and brings it to a stop. So let's go straight to see what the judges have got to say. Will it be the Pato Entertainment machine of Calvin Clark? Adam Camplin, Calvin Clark, that'll be Calvin Clark that takes the win.
So many new faces, David Hunter in the NDT Development C33. First time backlink for Jordan Joyce, so the nerves don't seem to be there as he's up on those KASPA transmissions wall. Pretty cool to see, but right there is David Hunter as well. Now Steve, have you gone over the different clips and points that the judges are looking through the track at the moment?
Well, you're the boss, of course I'll say I have.
So Jordan Joyce on the line, the judges want to see there's a bit of a rear clipping point right there with the TTI. They've got to be on the rear line with the NZ Vapor signs. Bit of pink on the walls, that's just because the people can't see through the smoke when they're in their cars, so we have to put a bit of dazzle on the wall there. Pretty epic chase there by David Hunter as well. For them as they go, the lights count down. David Hunter now on the lead. What's he going to give Jordan Joyce to chase?
Well, Hunter leads the way. You can see a shallower line as well to keep that proximity between himself. The smoke show certainly going for David Hunter in the NDT Development C33 Laurel. Into the teardrop we go. Hunter runs it high. Maybe a little bit too high. We'll check that on the replay. As Joyce comes through, tucks up underneath and tries to get down on the back end. And you can see just how low he's going. It's the fastest way around the track, but not necessarily the way the judges are wanting to see it.
Nice closure out there by Jordan Joyce. So yes, lots of little mistakes from both drivers in that run. Team Bad, Brendan goes one more time, Dan Mackey goes, Jordan Joyce, and Adam Richards goes one more time. So it's a one more time for David Hunter and Jordan Joyce.
Well, off they go.
DKM start line as they come down the Toyotas Galore, the Galore Parks group into the Cooper Tyres initiation there. Good initiation from Kurt Blackie. So cool again to see new faces coming out, Steve.
New faces, new liveries, it's always good to see. The starting of the D1NZ season, never one to miss.
Sean really on the door there, he knows he's got to do. I don't know who got the advantage in the last pass, but Sean, epic little chase there, switches on through the TTI clip. Are they going to push wide up on the bank now? Quite nice by the Pro Sport drivers here, a bit of a shallow line there by Sean, but well done to both of them. Scrubs the speed off, loses a bit of the bumper. We go onto the screen here. Dunker calls Kurt Blackie, Mackie calls Kurt Blackie. Adam actually goes for a one more time on that one. I'm not sure where he got that score from. Maybe we could have a chat to Adam.
Yeah, we're going to have a chat to Adam over that one there, so we'll just...
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Look, one more time, not quite sure why that's gone through like that. Adam did definitely call...
Oh, so that was... okay, well, a couple of gremlins there.
Yeah, I think that might be just the new technology there's had a little gremlin, but yeah, Adam definitely went...
I just thought he was going for it, like, he likes to go for underpowered cars and things. I thought that might have been what it was.
Yeah, no, he definitely likes the underpowered cars, that's for sure. Adam's he's definitely set on what he loves like, but he will call them exactly how they are, and he called that one the same as the other two of us did. So.
Oh, right. So that was
it was
my
Kurt
fault,
Blackie for sure going through on that one.
Thank you very much, Dan. Let's see what they can do this time. First one more time of the day. It's the Blacklion A31 Safiro.
Good lead there, a bit of a bobble there, right out on the wall there for the Blacklion Safiro. Very nice to see. Bit of a clip there. Oh, shallows it up and slows it down, and that allows us. Russell Beer out there.
Russell Beer
out there. Bumper hanging down. Switches on through. Russell Beer on the wider line, and it's a line that can definitely suck you in. Pretty clean lead there by Adam Whitehead. Blacklion obviously presenting the live stream this round as well. Blacklion Tyres.
Possibly for the. He's got another car underway, but. Straight into the big KASPA transmission sweeper here at Trustpower Stadium, round one of the D1NZ Championship. And it's Veer who heads down for the second half of their battle, winding on the angle into the teardrop section. Whitehead having to shallow up, certainly not gaining the proximity that the judges would be wanting to see.
Adam Whitehead's struggling on that inner clip there. Russell Veer way out front at the moment. I'm going to be calling a slight advantage here to Veer. Finishes out, coming through the Cooper Tyres, scrubs off the speed, flames flying out the Blacklion Tyres wastegate. New rule that... All right, Team Bad. What's Brendan Dunker? Brendan Dunker scores Russell, Mackie scores Russell, and Adam Richards scores Russell. Russell Veer, for the first time, his pro competition debut goes through.
Yeah, certainly one more time with David Hunter. Jordan Joyce, rookie to the D1NZ Pro Sport Championship. Of course, Pro Sport brought to us by Turbosmart from North Shore Toyota. So Jordan Joyce powers up, gets up to the top of the wall. Dave Hunter trying to close the gap by shallows up, gets great proximity, and down they go to the teardrop section. Hunter in that big mistake by the NDT developments machine coming out of the teardrop. Jordan Joyce is going to come away if he can finish the part of the run with a slight advantage. Again, back up to the wall. Hunter trying to close up the gap, railing the concrete. Joyce comes through and shallows up. Hunter throws in the big zero with a massive straight line. Did he straight line after the completion of the lap though? Hunter to lead. Jordan Joyce will be the chase driver. Leaves a slight gap. And this can only be one more time again or else... Well, this is 0-0. Huge mistake, flies off the track. Both of these cars fly off the track, therefore that should be...
What happens is on that second battle, as you saw, David Hunter, Jordan Joyce didn't initiate his drift, so he rolled into the section, which effectively gives him a zero. Because he's the chase car, there's a rule that David Hunter needs to finish his drift lap while drifting. He failed to do that. That zeroed him out as he went off course.
Sure.
So we do go back to the first battle. On the first battle, we had Jordan Joyce obviously made a couple of mistakes, but completed his run. David Hunter actually lost his drift at the end of that.
He did,
which meant that he scored a 0 on the first run. So the first run was 10-0 to Jordan. The second run was 0-0.
0-0. So I think we're going to come away with the result.
Yeah, a bit of a tricky one, but that's where we're at.
All right, well, I'll let you go and press your button so we can see what happens up on the screen. There's the cars. Let's see what they say, though. Brendan Dunker says Jordan Joyce. Dan Mackey says Jordan Joyce. And going all the way through for his first win in the D1NZ Pro Sport Championship, Jordan Joyce will go through to the top 8, taking on Calvin Clark.
Kurt Blackie on the chase. The countdown tree goes. We are go. They're going to pluck the gears.
Well, straight down into the big, fast right-hander. Very shallow line to start, but makes his way up to the wall and over-rotates Russell Vere. That was all the lead car's fault. Of course, the chase car will not be deducted points for that one there. Wasn't part of that, so not a nice start.
That's commentator's curse. Never mean it'll be a one more time. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Kurt Blackie on the lead. Russell Vere on the chase. They initiated low line. Very low line there from Kurt Blackie. Russell Vere out wide, nearly taps the wall. You can see all that rubber spraying it. That gives a big gap to Kurt Blackie, but that's going to mark him down. Russell Vere chucks it away. That will be a 0-0. All Kurt Blackie has to do is he has to finish this run. There would have been a huge deduction to Kurt Blackie because he went so low, but all he's got to do now is finish the run, and that will be Kurt Blackie in the cave. CooperTyres.co.nz, Mount Maunganui, R32 goes through to top 4.
So, of course, Cooper Tyres behind the hard park, fingers in the air for Kurt Blackie.
Team Bad, Duncan, Mackey and Richards sliding right for Kurt Blackie. Kurt Blackie through to the top 4.
So we've got the Central Equipment Movers Auto Surf Sylvia of TJ Taylor James, who will lead out Atlan Norman into the Precision Roofing S15. So straight down, and a small mistake to start, but it was before. Very, very shallow lines following the mistake for Atlan Norman. Norman back onto the Peso. Taylor James, our second qualifier last night. Let's see what happens. They come through the teardrop. Tay James running the qualifying line expected of him. Of course, Atlan Norman having to shallow up his line to gain proximity. Comes back down into the final turn, right on the B pillar. But again, very, very low. I'm going to call advantage to Taylor James following what was a big mistake. I don't know if it was a 0 mistake leading in. Soon as this battle finishes. So Atlan Norman's turn this time to go down at the front straight and commence the second half of this battle. So Atlan again going down for that low section. Taylor James heading up top. That's where the judges want to see him. So because of the gap that's been formed, the judges will ask that this could be an interesting one down in the teardrop section for that chase car, but they have asked for the chase car to run the same qualifying line as last night. So Atlan running very low, Taylor James running up and filling up that outer zone through KASPA transmissions. We'll go and have a look at the replay. Here we go. Brendan Dunker, Dan Mackey, Adam Richards. Brendan Dunker says Taylor James. Adam Richards says Taylor James. Dan Mackey says one more time. I can understand why, but that is going to be enough for Taylor James to go through.
Look, it was a little bit of that. I felt that Tay's chase run just wasn't quite as aggressive as I like to see. You know, we want to see drivers, even if they do have an advantage, which Taylor definitely did have an advantage in that first run, without a doubt. Atlan's
at the same time, Atlan did go low going in, which gave him the... He went right the inside line coming out of the first sweeper. Yeah,
look, there was, like I say, both chase runs were pretty messy. The lead runs were where it was settled for me, and I kind of felt that Taylor needed to engage more to make sure that he capitalised on his lead run. So I went an OMT, but the other boys, I'm happy to see Taylor go through. I think he is quite a dominant driver, and if he fixes that up for next round, he'll definitely do well.
Machine almost balked on the line, but off we go. Jordan Joyce, massive wheel spin, and here goes Calvin Clark. So Joyce running a low line, Calvin Clark making lots of smoke up towards the wall. Not quite on the perfect judges line, but close enough. Both drivers just clipping putting a bit of dirt spray as they come through the panhead clip, back under through Mimico, and then we go to the TTI clip, which is an outer clip heading back up to NZ Vapor, and then we want to see them fill that KASPA transmission zone, and that is exactly what Calvin Clark is doing as he fires back onto the front straight. Calvin Clark in the Pato Entertainment Machine. And we'll go to the lights as Jordan Joyce in the VIP car care Nissan S13 charges out, and this time it's Joyce who heads for the wall, filling that outer zone, comes through NZ Vapor, the panhead clip. Both drivers, I think more Calvin Clark more than anything, hit that inside clip, just going over the edge, dropping a tyre off. And a big correction, a huge correction, and that has created a straight line. That is a 0 for Calvin Clark. And that is going to be a 0. Now that should be enough, therefore, for Jordan. 1 tick Jordan Joyce, 2 ticks Jordan Joyce, 3 ticks, and heading on through to the next round, Jordan Joyce in the VIP car care Nissan S13. 3 red, 4. Let's get it ready to go green. And a slow start for the NZ machine of Michael Thorley, but gets up and winds it up. See Kurt Blackie really trying to close the gap straight away, and really shallow, so we can keep up with and get on that proximity. Blackie will look to bring the nose down and close the gap right up as they exit the final turn out of KASPA Transmissions. Kurt Blackie off, and away. So Blackie comes down into the panhead clip. So Blackie comes around the clip point, grabs the clip, but we see the NZ machine come through and actually clip it and go through the dirt at that section. That'll be a slight deduction. Is it going to be enough to take the win still as Blackie powers out? A nice lead run by Kurt Blackie. Adam Richards says Michael Thorley. Kurt Blackie says, Dan Mackey says Kurt Blackie. And Brendan Dunker says, one more time. All right, so there's a lot of ugliness in that battle, and we're going to go one more time. So Michael Thorley, Kurt Blackie, been given the thumbs, and we go green and release. Tay James leads the way, coming down into the sweeper for the first time in this top 4 battle. Taylor James goes up to the top shelf. Jordan Joyce having to shallow up his line, keeping that proximity. But we see a breakaway and we see a wheel off by Jordan Joyce. We'll catch that up on the replay. So Taylor James powers back out. See if he can hit that outside clip. Back up to the wall we go. Climbing mountains and making smoke here at Baypark today. And back out of the final turn. Red lights, we switch green, off we go. Jordan Joyce a lot to do from the front. He needs to try and work a mistake out of Taylor James or he will be gone. Joyce goes right up to the top shelf. Railing the wall. What a beautiful line for Jordan Joyce this time. Switches over. Both of these drivers, we've got contact. One goes around, one goes off. Now, question would be, did Tay James maintain his drift? So we've got 2 wheels off, and was that caused by Taylor James? We're going to have to heavily scrutinise the replay, but a great, and again, runs out of track, and just Adam Richards, Dan Mackey, Brendan Dunker, they have all pressed one more time. We are going again. So an OMT one more time between Jordan Joyce and Taylor James. Of course, OMT is exactly what happened on the other side of on the left-hand side of the tree with Mike. So I don't often agree with you, Brendan Dunker, but one more time, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah, that was quite a tricky one to split. Obviously, Jordan had lost drift in the first one, so he ended up scoring a 0 on the first run. The second one, we had to establish whether we felt that Taylor went in too fast to hit hit Jordan or whether Jordan stalled up too much
Yes.
to be hit. So we did establish that Taylor had probably gone in a little bit hotter than he needed to. Although Jordan did stall, we did specifically ask in driver's briefing for the chase car to be very aware that the lead car will slow down a lot there. There probably could have been a bit more room. And so it's gone 10-0 each way. Therefore, we've elected to go for one more time.
Thumbs are up, red lights 3 and 4. We go green, slight jump, but that's okay, and drifting. And off we go. A drag race down the straight here at Baypark. Round 1 of the 2019 Pro Sport Drift Series here. That was interesting switch. Certainly not Thorley's fault, but it may have been contact, and pulls out of the drift. Thorley has to hold on to his line and carry on drifting, but a huge advantage going into what will no doubt be the final. He has to hold on to the second half of this battle. Everything's fine right now, and Michael Thorley takes a huge piece, a huge bite of this battle. So let's go up and check out and see. It will be Kurt Blackie who will lead. Blackie's gone for a really fast lead from what I've seen, and you can already see that in the gap that's been made between himself and Michael Thorley. Mike Thorley gets up on the wall. Slight, looks like he's grazing the concrete as he comes through. Blackie coming into the teardrop section. Thorley really needs to be careful he doesn't go 2 wheels off straight lines. What is going to happen here with the judges? That to me is a 0 for our chase driver. Heavy advantage to Kurt Blackie, but the question is that a major points deduction or is that a 0? If it's a 0, then
all right. So we're waiting for the judges. Steve, I've been doing duties. We've got Kurt Blackie versus Michael Thorley. We're waiting on the judges team bad. Who's it going to be? Dunky, Mackie and Richards. Kurt Blackie, nice picture on the left there. Dunker says one more time. Mackie says Thorley. Richards says Thorley. Mike Thorley gets the win.
All right, so there was a...
Kurt Blackie, look at him, he's not happy, chucking his hands up in the air there. The Cave, Cooper Tyres, R32. Steve, I missed it, run me through it.
They went drifting, judges came up with a decision. A first time in the history of me and the judges, I actually agreed with the decision. Kurt Blackie's my friend too.
Right, yeah.
No, so we had a big incident in the first one, which basically was a 0 score, and then we came back in the So we came through for the second half of the battle. The only issue was Michael Thorley was either put 1 wheel off or 2. I thought it was 2 wheels, which would have been a heavy points deduction. We saw a reverse angle of that, which proved that it was only 1 wheel. We did come into a slight, what I thought was a straight line, but again, the judges have decided that what was done bad by Kurt Blackie in the first one wasn't as bad as what was done bad by Michael Thorley.
And it is very much that. It's a tipping scale on the mistakes that they make out on the track. All right, we've got Taylor James here. What happened with Taylor James in the previous battle? I heard a lot of commotion. Was it Jordan Joyce he was battling?
Yeah, so himself and Jordan Joyce, they couldn't work out. So Jordan Joyce comes up and he pulls on. We spoke to the judges about it. He came in and basically stalled the car as they both power away from the line, down the straight and into the sweeper. Joyce again going for that low line. It's all about proximity, loving the battles here. Great to see a newcomer in the sport and doing a great job. First up, powering out of the teardrop section, trying to get on the B pillar of Taylor James. Taylor James moving up the track again and powering out of the section. Joyce getting right in behind. What a great chase battle or chase run by Jordan Joyce. For a spot in the final, Jordan Joyce. And it's Taylor James's time to go down to the bottom end. He's right on the door. Taylor James does not want to run out of room. Gives him a bit of space for the switch. Tay James needs to hold on to it. Check out this chase run by Taylor James. Winding on the angle. Jordan Joyce though drives away. Taylor James closes up again. What a run by these two drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. I can see Guy Maxwell in the middle jump. Brendan Dunker, Dan Mackey, OMT one way, down Mackie says Taylor James, Adam Richards says Taylor James, so that will mean Taylor James goes through to battle Michael Thorley in the final.
We are green on the DKM start line. Jordan Joyce on the lead. Kurt Blackie right there though, and then lags back a bit.
Kurt Blackie missed his gear change, but he's back on it now, and he's trying to close the door. Big mistake, well, sorry, a partial mistake for Blackie in chase position.
Closes it up as they come through there. Now nice and wide there by Jordan Joyce out on the North Shore Toyota Turbosmart. Clip through the Mimico centre section. Slow from Jordan Joyce there, but Kurt Blackie right there clips in nice. Out on the wall, Kurt Blackie closes the door. Is he going to be able to maintain that fluidity coming through the last point of the KASPA transmission? Bit of a straight line. It's really stacked off the angle there on Kurt Blackie. Kurt Blackie seems very fast. It's the battle for third and fourth off the DKM start line.
Well, it's all about the podium in this battle here. It's the local man, Kurt Blackie, wanting to do it for a local crowd. He's been able to create a gap between himself and the other driver every battle we've seen, but Jordan Joyce is still holding on to it. Joyce comes through. Big switch. Tapping a dial on the angle. And powers out past NZ Vapor through KASPA transmissions. Well, it's an interesting one. I mean, I don't know if although it was
come up. Dan Mackey scores one more time. Brendan Duncan scores one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going one more time.
Well, I've been given the nod, off we go, and again, a nice fast start. Now, I heard that Jordan Joyce might have only been running second and fourth, and he's put his hand out of the window, has he? It looks like he's pulled out of the drift, so I had a message earlier saying that he only had second and fourth gear, and that will be a 10-0 advantage in the final, but off we go. So Kurt Blackie, release from the line. Jordan Joyce in chase. The battle for third and fourth. The winner goes through to take the podium spot. The first podium spot of the 2019 season. Both drivers drop a wheel off as they go through the panhead clip. Blackie powers out of the Turbosmart zone, heading back to the wall. Slight correction for the VIP car keys S13 of Jordan Joyce. Joyce certainly closing up the gap. But this will probably be too little too late. One tick, Brendan Dunker to Kurt Blackie. 2 ticks, 3 ticks, Kurt Blackie. Kurt Blackie takes third place in round number 1 of the D1NZ Turbosmart Pro Sport.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's final time, Steve.
It certainly is final time as Michael Thorley drives away from the line. He's got Taylor James tucking in underneath him as they go into the sweeper for the first time. Thorley up by the wall. Was that contact? Maybe not. They both keep their foot in it as they come through onto the centre section.
What a chase here from Taylor James, the CD2 boy. Dives straight back in there on the C33. Taylor James all over Mike Thorley right now. It's the big C33. Oh, but a mistake there from Taylor James, who bails out.
And that is going to be all she wrote for Taylor James in the first half of that battle. 10-0 will be the difference between themselves for such a good contact coming through the concrete. As
chase we go live off the DKM start line. Taylor James got a good jump there. Michael Thorley, whether he's going to hang back a bit or whether he's going to jump straight in there. Mike Thorley is still in there. He's going to have to close the gap. He knows he's got an advantage here, but he can't have an inactive chase. Switches through. Nice fluidity there from Taylor James on the clip. No big mistakes here, scrubs off a bit of a speed. He's right on that Turbosmart outside line. He's doing everything the judges want to see him. He needs to deliver something good here or hope from a mistake from the NZC33. But Thorley will know that he's got a big advantage on the last four, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Thorley looks to be the one of the victor here. Steve, you can't break it. Dunker, Mackey and Richards, who is going to get the win? Will it be Taylor James, the Tokoroa local, or will it be the Aucklander Michael Thorley? Richard scores Thorley, Mackey scores Thorley, Brennan Duncan scores Thorley, Michael Thorley gets the checkered flag, ladies and gentlemen, and is your round 1 Turbosmart D1NZ Pro Sport winner, which means...
Let's set him loose, Michael Thorley. down the front straight. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Michael Thorley. Oh, hits the certainly hitting to the KASPA transmission, the inside line, throwing the terracotta around from this speedway circuit. All right, congratulations again. As we mentioned, third place, the Cooper Tyres map, going to be R32 Skyline of Kurt Blackie. In second place, the Central Equipment Movers Auto Surf Sylvia of Taylor James, and winner of the first round of the D1NZ in the NZ dog, Michael Thorley, takes away the round honours. Of course, the Pro Sport category brought to us by Turbosmart. That's Turbosmart from North Shore Toyota Parts.